Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Today is going to be a little bit different topic. It's going to be focused on YouTube itself, and I've used YouTube for years and years and years, as many of you have, for information and entertainment. For the last 3.5 years, I've used it as a vlogger, and two different experiences, and YouTube has been going through some changes, especially the last year or so. So I'm going to touch on some of the good, some of the not so good, and maybe even touch on some of the ugly. We'll see where this goes. Anyway, obviously, uh, YouTube is a major resource, major resource. You can uh, just like Google is and your various search engines. You can find anything and almost anything. You can go visit any place in the world virtually on YouTube. Imagine trying to travel the world today without all the resources that we have. Imagine going back in time before the internet, when you had National Geographic encyclopedias and some magazines that give you some hint, maybe some radio and television. But even before that, the early explorers for thousands of years just taking off and going with very little knowledge at all. One issue that YouTube has gotten pretty good at, and that is content protection. And recently they sent me a list of, in fact, about 9 different channels that had stolen some of my material, were using my material under their own names. And even some people have tried to speed up the tracks or use partial tracks, slow down the tracks to try to get around that. But their computers or algorithms are doing a fantastic job in finding even bits of clips that other people are using. And they report that, and then you have a choice of what you want to do. You can give them like 7 days to take it down, or you can ask YouTube to take it down immediately. In the case that I had, I went and looked at the person's channel. It looked like everything that they had. In fact, each and every one of these people had actually copied everybody else's content, had not produced any of their own content, and put their name on it. The flip side of that is, and the problem for many people is that if you're in an area and you're doing some video and somebody has a radio on, or somebody's singing a song, and that is a copyrighted song, might be copyrighted by a writer, by a music company, a producing company, or a singer. And even if you turn the volume down very low, their computers can catch that and they can demonetize that video. I've had a couple videos where they've said, well, we're not going to demonetize, we're not going to give you a strike, but you're going to share your revenue, that little bit of revenue that I get on some of my videos, with the copyright owner. Another good factor about YouTube is it allows people to make some additional revenue. Now there are those people who make a lot of revenue. There are people like me who make a little bit of revenue, and there's a lot of people who make no revenue. And they tend to change the rules regularly, and they don't tell you what the rules are. The algorithms, what affects how much money you make. And you do some videos, you think, and you get a lot of viewers, and yet the revenue isn't very good on that. So a couple reasons for that. Number one, I think advertisers more and more are demanding more results for their advertising dollar. And there's more competition out there with Facebook and different organizations getting involved in this type of thing. And so the competition, I think, is going to get harder and harder. I think every month, just here in the Philippines, there must be at least 10 or 15 more vloggers. So the competition amongst vloggers, plus the competition for the advertising dollar out there, and they're just demanding more, and they're getting more picky about what types of videos their advertising goes on. Um, In this last month in particular, I've seen my revenue go within a couple of days shoot up and then shoot back down, and it didn't make any sense. I suspect that they've been playing with their algorithms, and hopefully in the end it'll all even out. The other side of that is that it requires quite a bit of work, quite a bit of time. It requires investment in photography, videography, equipment, and that type of thing. And I've spent some money. So you definitely have some costs involved. YouTube bases a lot of that revenue on what did you do for me today? You know, the number of subscribers you have is important, but probably the least important of all the other factors. YouTube is what did you do for me today? What did that video you put up today? How many people viewed it? How long did they view it? Did they watch any advertising? Did they click on any advertising? Did they give you a thumbs up or thumbs down? Did they share your video with anybody? Did they interact with the video? All of those factors are taken into account in the end, and you don't really know. And there's another thing that's taken into account, and I make videos of varying lengths. If you make a longer video and you get longer watch time, and then you do a shorter one, and of course, naturally, the view time is shorter. And they consider that as almost a minus against you. And then I think they say that, well, then we don't, your next video or two, we don't advertise it as much. We don't put it out there as recommended videos just because of that. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the video. It has to do with one being a lot longer and one a lot shorter than the others. That is my understanding anyway. Another point, both good and bad, is monetization and how your videos are monetized, meaning that you may make some money on the video. Most of my videos do get monetized automatically, pretty much, but every once in a while I get a thing saying, we're not going to monetize it, we don't think, and the computer makes these, but humans rate the algorithms that tell the computer what to decide. And occasionally I get one and I can put it up for review, and I think almost every time after a couple of days, after most people have watched the video who are going to watch the video, they will monetize it. So I think I've lost that money in the process over those first couple of days when it's being watched. Sometimes it has to do with the title, sometimes it has to do with the thumbnail that's presented, I think, but there are no real clear guidelines about that, so you're often caught off guard when that happens. The other side, of the bad side of that, is that there are people who, in my opinion, provide some good information, and maybe on a somewhat controversial topic, but it's good information, good discussion, and those channels are demonetized, sometimes even shut down. And you know, if you do some research, read about it, some of you are aware of that, some aren't. But you know, there's a lot of channels that have been shut down in the last year, and pretty much, I think you could call it censorship. And you know, they'll come out and say that, oh, you know, they've got the rules. In fact, Facebook has even come out and said that we're a publisher and we can decline to publish anything we want. So they're saying, hey, we're going to censor anything we don't like. I know one blogger, I think he's up in Bacolod, was demonetized. His channel was demonetized for a number of months because he dared to talk about cockfighting in the Philippines, and it wasn't like he was doing a big show about it and promoting it, but I think they said, no, you're demonetized for 2-3 months, whatever it was. So there are some topics, some of us, we just self-censor. There are certain topics I would like to cover in certain ways, in an educational kind of manner, and yet understanding what's been going on, you just decide, maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't want to deal with demonetization and that whole hassle. Another topic that has pluses and minuses: content, public domain, and access. Content like YouTube offers has a pretty large library of music that you can access, copyright free, so that you can use on your site. There are other sites that provide public domain free usage of pictures and video clips, that type of thing. I use Pixabay quite often to get, in fact, I got this picture, most of these pictures from Pixabay. Fortunately, in the Philippines, we still have enormous access to most areas to film and even to use drones. And I have recently read here in October 2019 that Congress is planning to start writing new laws about drones. And over a year ago when I started thinking about getting one, I really suspected that it was just a matter of time before that was going to happen, because over time you're going to have people using them in dangerous ways. You're going to have terrorists using them, and they're already using them that way in the Middle East. So it's the world that we live in today. In America and Canada, many parts of Europe, I think they are regulated. If they're over a certain size, very big at all, you even have to get some type of pilot license, and lots of regulations where you can fly them. A lot of restricted zones, and that's going to start happening here. Hopefully it won't be as extreme as it is in some of those countries. As far as filming around the Philippines, there are a few places. The Colonnade grocery store, they've got signs up, no video, no pictures. And I didn't see it. I had some security guard run up to me and say, "Didn't you see the sign?" No, I didn't actually, but said, "You're not allowed to film here." And IT Park, even though they have told me I can't use a camera there, I could use my phone to film. And I had a nice discussion with an interesting security guard there. And rules are rules. That's all I'll say about that. I plan to continue doing what I'm doing. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy providing some useful information when I can, and I got a lot of information from My Philippine Journey, Bud Brown, and a couple other people before I came here. It gave me a comfort level about coming to the Philippines and interacting with the people. And but I did see a need to provide a little information about how do you do this? How do you get from here to there? What does it cost? And one of my big questions when I moved here was, what part of town should I live in? What's available? And nobody could really give me an answer. And I started having real estate people grab me in the malls and say, "Come and look at my condo right now." And so I did, and I always carried a camera with me, and I took some video and started putting that up, and many of you showed interest in that, and so kind of and it interests me too, the real estate market. I'm not a realtor by any stretch of the imagination, but the economy, the geography, the people geography, how people move, where they live, the culture, all that interests me. And so anyway, I do it. I enjoy doing it. I hope to make additional money through this process, through this labor of love, put it that way. And it does take up an awful lot of time, and sometimes I can't travel, can't do video because I'm editing video. So anyway, I thank you for watching. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And I would remind you of those factors, that how we do make a little bit of revenue by how long you watch the video, and whether you watch any of the ads, that type of thing. And I do too. I watch when I have time to watch other people's videos, I watch the ads and let them run, and just for that reason. Anyway, safe travels to you all wherever you're at, and I'll see you next time.